Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wanderpreneur podcast show. Today I have Shannon on, and she is the Traveling Wild Woman. She has a Facebook community called that, so look it up. Um, so Shannon and we connected probably fall 2016, probably like in September or so. She had a client that we tried to get connected with. We were going to be on a summit together. It didn't work out because of the timing, and I am so honored to have her on today because this lady is like down to earth. She's honest, she's upfront, she knows her shit, and she's like a badass. So I'm so honored to have her here.
What a great
Shannon.
intro.
And another great thing is she lives on an island right now, and she's just told me she's getting ready to hopefully move over to Italy. So talk about a real wanderpreneur, having the life and the business and the whole travel, like everything. She has it all. So let's hear it from Shannon.
Hi, man. Welcome to the Wanderless Wandermore show with your host, Christy Candelario, a movement for life, for freedom in life. Watch ya. Wanderless, Wandermore, expert advices for sure. Wanderless, Wandermore, helping you become an entrepreneur. Wanderless, Wandermore, travel around the world, let us go explore. Wanderless, Wandermore, expert advices for sure. Come and be guided and supported by this podcast show. We give you enough insight just to help you grow. Special guest experts, business adventures about great lifestyles and so much more. Launching, transforming and leveling up businesses globally since 2012. Stay tuned and wonder less so you can wonder more. Yeah, man.
That's a great introduction. Thank you so much. So my name's Shannon Whaley. I am the owner of Traveling Wild Woman, and I'm based here in the Cayman Islands. And I'm a women's business and marketing coach, and my whole spiel is I'm a women's business marketing coach for passionate and driven service-based entrepreneurs who are turning their side gigs into thriving and sustainable businesses. So I help women either start or up level their side hustles and side gigs and help them get legit, legal, get the business side down, and then we market their business in a way that feels really good, and so like they're talking to an old friend. So
I love that because I'm like that too. Like everything you just said.
Cool. Yeah, I know that we're like super aligned on our messaging and what we do, and which is so awesome to see and to have that camaraderie because being a solopreneur and I'm in my bedroom right now, so it gets lonely. It's a one-woman show here, so just to be able to have other women to connect like that's really cool.
It is. Yeah, I'm in our guest bedroom / office.
Yeah. So I moved to the Cayman Islands in 2013, and I started my business in 2016 and shut down the first one. It wasn't the best business model, and then reopened January 2017. So this is the Traveling Wild Woman 2.0, and and so now things are much better, more aligned, totally legal and legit. I have a bookkeeper and an accountant, so they're helping me keep money where it needs to be, and so good stuff.
Okay, so that's even crazier because I had my business and I kind of shut it down and then I started it again. I seriously, everything you put out there, I'm always like, man, like, how is she in my head right now?
Totally. And I was
like, we have the same life.
Well, and like when I was going through that whole shit show, I was like holding on to what Danielle Laporte says, and like her story too is that she was fired from her own company. And that's essentially what happened, was that my business partners pulled out and I didn't have a company anymore just because of how you can open businesses here as an immigrant on the island. And so I was the company just shut down. I had no say in it. And so I was like, in that time, I was like, okay, this happened to Danielle Delport. She got through it. She's a millionaire. She's good. Okay, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. I just got to hold on. So that was my saving grace of like hearing other entrepreneur stories and other really powerful women's stories to know that I wasn't going to die and my life wasn't over. It was just changing.
Yeah, what a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
But you're about to be on like the best roller coaster ever this year.
Totally. I was saying earlier, like 2017 is my year. Like I know that this is just the year that things are finally clicking.
I agree.
The first business was like a trial run. And now I'm like, I'm set. We're set.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, especially after I took my break. I actually took a break for 5 months. So that's how long I basically fired myself because I thought I was doing a shitty job and it wasn't right because it didn't feel right because I was listening to my mentors that I had at the time and nothing seemed to be me at that point because I would be like, I want to put this out there. And then they would come back and be like, well, no, you should say this or this or this and this. And then before you know it, it's not my words. And I didn't want to show off my website. I didn't feel like that was my website. I didn't feel like putting myself out there because it wasn't me. And I wasn't comfortable with it. And then I was wondering why my dream business, my so-called dream business, wasn't actually working. So I ended up just like firing myself, took a 5-month break, and then I was ready on like 4th of July, believe it or not. I gave up all my plans that day. I sat down and I started working and it was just coming like all over the place. But previous to that, I really discovered all my issues like, oh, it's not even me whenever I was in Mexico drunk. So that's another story. But that was in June when I discovered it. And then I finally got around to doing something about it on 4th of July. But, you know, like it was a trial run in the beginning. And I feel like you learn a lot. And I think that just shows that we are 2 coaches now. We have created success. We're starting to have an abundance and stuff like that, but it wasn't always like that. That's why today we wanted to talk about the industry, you know, because so many people online want to hire a business mentor. They want to hire somebody. They want to hire somebody to help them create the lifestyle that they want. You see a lot of people that are business coaches, marketing experts, social media strategists, publicists, mindset coaches. I can't think of other ones right now. Lifestyle coaches, we have those. There's a lot of different people out there, and it's starting to look saturated. And, you know, when you are looking to hire a mentor, you have to actually kind of do your homework and to really know who is the real deal and who is not, so you can set yourself apart. So that was probably the number one reason why I wanted to bring Shannon on, because she actually reminds me a lot of myself and one of my best friends that, because I know that we talked before, or even on your live videos, you've had like some other stuff that you said about your past. And I was like, man, that's my best friend right there. Like that's what she went through and things like that. And I wanted to talk to you because I can't think of someone else better to talk to about this because I know you're the real deal. So let's dive on in and we'll talk about the industry.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So where do we even start?
Well, what really struck me was what you were talking about with that you would talk to your mentors about what you wanted to put out there and they said, no, do this instead.
Yes.
I'm curious, were those your coaches or were they mentors that you were had you hired them as coaches or?
I had hired them. I was paying like $1,000 something a month, like at least $1,000 a month. Yeah. And it wasn't until I started to realize that everybody seemed to have some cookie cutter program. Like I was new and she looked successful. She looked like she was killing it online. She had an abundance of clients. She had what I wanted. She had the lifestyle, or so I thought. And we worked together. It went really well the first month because that was whenever I was trying to learn how to do a website because in my first business in the health and fitness industry, I just did my website on GoDaddy. I didn't do WordPress, but I knew that I needed to get something so I could track SEOs and stuff like that, because this was going to be my real main gig, because this is what my dream was. And by month 2, things started to kind of go down. I mean, I had some clients in month 1. I had some clients in month 2. And then it kind of started to fall apart. I started working with all my nightmare clients, like people I could not relate to, like you and I, like I can be with this, like this is awesome.
Right.
But I was having, like, there's nothing against the people I was working with. We just didn't have anything in common. Like, I don't really care to go to the mall. I don't really care to go to some resort and drink, pina coladas at the pool. I'd rather be like embracing the culture of different places. I'd rather be out and about, like doing exciting things outside, on the boat or whatever, like going and doing stuff. And it was hard to talk to some of the people and have that relationship, which it made me want to dread to get on the call, because these were the people I was attracting because my messages weren't me.
Absolutely. And that's so, like, it makes my stomach drop when people say, like, oh, my coach told me not to do that. And I was like, well, that's not really coaching. When someone says, no, put this instead, or if you come to them with your original idea of like who you want to attract, and then they tell you, well, this is what's worked for me and you should do this. Like, anytime that's a conversation, it's like a pump the brakes, hold up, because that's not coaching. That's consulting, but coaching is like, the answers, like, who you want to attract, who you want to work with, and you saw what happened when you used somebody else's messaging. You attracted their clients, not the people that you were like, I want to be best friends with you. Like, my clients, like, finally my messaging is down, and I feel like it's my really authentic voice on social media and on my website. And I have clients where I'm like, where am I traveling to next? I want to go meet such and such. And like, I want to be, and some of the clients afterwards we've turned into friends, like, because we've spent 6 months to a year together, both of us growing our businesses. And I love my clients. Like, they're so inspiring.
Me too.
And the ones who don't fit fall off. Like, you realize right away, like, this isn't maybe the best fit. How can I tighten up my messaging?
Yeah, that is so true. I have 3 of my clients coming next week, and I'm going to like go and take them out. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just pick you up at the airport. And they're like, you're going to pick us up? I'm like, yeah, like, I love y'all. I'm going to take y'all out. We're going to go over here. I'm like, then we'll have like a business day. Like,
I love it.
And that's, and like, that is something, if I would have done this last year, I would have been so nervous having my clients come to like a business retreat. Whereas, I'm just having a really small one. I'm just having 3 from our mastermind, just because I have clients, in Scotland and like North Canada and stuff like that. So just the ones that were right here that could come, because we just decided to put it together. They're coming and they're just like, you're picking us up? You're going to do this? I'm like, yes. Like, y'all are I love y'all. I really do love y'all. Like, y'all are my dream clients. Like, I want to be friends forever.
Totally.
And that's what you want to look for in a mentor. I feel like you have to have that kind of connection. If you can't get vulnerable with your mentor, it's not going to work out. Because, I mean, even last night, I picked up the phone on my Facebook, the little Facebook phone, and I ended up calling one because she sent me a message, and I was like, what is going on? You need to tell me. I'm like, I know we're not having a session right now, but you need to let me know what's going on, because I can't help serve you. And to have, I mean, yes, you want to have boundaries, and coaches do have boundaries, but you also want someone that cares about you. And, they're not charging you $10,000 a month to talk to them for an hour and only get help and support on that 1 hour phone call per week. I just think that's total BS. I know that I've seen a lot of coaches out there doing that, or like charging like $7,000 for a month. and it makes me sick, because hello, like, people don't have that. Why are you letting people go into debt like that? And you're not even actually there to help them through the whole thing, where they fall off, and then you know what? They're in 10 grand of debt because they thought you could help them because that's what you told them on the calls.
Right.
And I know that people have good intentions, or some do. And then there's also people that want to get rich. And then there's the people that actually know their stuff.
Yeah.
And can actually help you and will care about you.
Well, and this is such like an interesting topic too. Like, I really care about people and I want to get rich.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's me too.
Yeah. And so but you can do it in a way that still your clients feel loved up. And I'm not just talking about like rich, I want to be rolling around in money. Like, everyone has like a different, I mean, that would be nice, but everybody has like a really different definition of that. So what is rich? Like, and what's the stigma attached to that title? Or, I mean, money is such like a hot trigger for, I think, everybody really. And it's a great place to look. Like, if you're triggered by what we're talking about and like, oh, she's a coach and she's spiritually aligned and she wants to be rich, like that doesn't really go well together. Like, that's a great place to start looking at what your limiting beliefs are and if that's affecting your income and what you feel like your services are worth charging. I mean, if someone's getting $7 grand a month for services, like, bravo, man. I'm not there. I'm not there. And I don't even know what kind of coach I would have to be to say that my services are worth $7,000 a month, you know? Like,
I wouldn't feel good with it.
Well, and maybe I will be one day. Like, maybe you will be one day.
Yeah, maybe.
Totally. Like, if you ask for that right now,
but
like,
even
you
right now, like, no.
Right. But maybe if we're best-selling authors and
we have the credentials,
what we can get. Totally. We have social proof. This is what I can do for you. This is what I can help you do. You know, and there are people that are willing to pay that. And so, like, every level requires new empowering beliefs. Like, when I first started out, it was all of the stuff of like, who's going to pay me for this? And so I started out at $200 a month, which felt like, oh, I can't believe I'm asking people to pay this. Are they going to pay it? And then people were paying me that. And then I increased my rate. So then it was $400 a month. Same thing. Who's going to pay this? Who's going to pay this? And then I got comfortable with $400 a month. And then it slowly increased as I got more confident, as my messaging got clearer, as my clients started to get results. As I'm finishing up my ICF certification. So that's another certification that can help you ask for a higher rate. You know, the different trainings that you do and all of that. So I'm not I don't want to like me right now in this present, like where I am, I'm not $7,000 a month. Who knows? Like, in a couple years, right? Like, I don't want to cut myself off from that possibility.
No, of course not. Yeah, no, I've seen and I've heard, because I have clients. So most of my clients end up coming. 90% of them I'm their second coach, and they worked with someone else. And most of the time, it's these about 5 individuals, or if you trace it back up, they land at those 5 individuals. Or we could even take it up to even the higher coach that is training them. And it seems like these people are going in, they're taking a 6-month program, and then they're like, boom, I'm an expert in this, and I'm going to charge $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $12,000. And that's scary, because then I'm getting these broken clients that are already in so much debt. And, you know, like, it pisses me off getting to see that, because, you know, like, I don't know how people are going out and hiring these people, and they're really good. Like, they're so good at marketing and getting those people to sign up. But also, like, it doesn't feel right to me, because I would never do something that unethical if I knew I couldn't help them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a load of BS when you do things like that. Mm-hmm. And so most of my clients, when we started talking about it, and they have all these different people, and I started to like piece the coaching industry together, and I started to see that the person at the very, very top was training everyone, and then the people
Cookie
that
cutter
she
down.
was, yeah, it was
Yep.
just cookie cutter
Yep.
down, and the same sales script, except, you know, different font and different layout and copyrighted by new person. And
Totally.
and it's important to realize that, and to always ask, who are you, like who has been your mentor. When you ask someone to, you're as a coach, when you're hiring, you have to ask, like, who have you worked with?
Yep.
Because I mean, that's important. And if you're
Yeah.
getting on the call with a lot of different coaches and you're seeing, you know, there's some kind of trend going on, maybe all the websites look the same, or they have the same message, or maybe that, you know, they seem really nice and you want to work with them because you think that y'all would be friends. But here's the deal, honey. Like, did you pay that much to be friends with somebody when throughout your life? I mean, if you wanted to, you should have gone to college and been in a sorority, and you would have saved money. You would have got a ton of friends for like $3,000 or something for like 6 months. So if you're gonna pay for friends, that's the only way I would think you should pay for friends. But like, you have to hire somebody that can actually help you, and you have to be able to ask that person, because when you get on a clarity call, it's not just about like getting on the call to see if you like the person or not.
Right.
It's deeper than that. And the question is, you have to ask, how can you help me? Like, how can you actually do that? And if your intuition, your gut, your heart, your soul, whatever is telling you something different, don't hire them.
Yeah.
Stand up for yourself. And most of the time, especially women, we're people pleasers. We don't want to tell people no. So instead we say yes. And then, you know what happens at the end of the 3 months when the contract's about to run out and the person asks you if you want to continue? You're still a people person because you haven't transformed. And then you say yes. And then you're in more debt because you're still not getting that transformation. And it's important to rise up and to see that, and to know that who gives a shit what other people think. And, you know, seeking approval from other people, like even going back to the beginning, you have to rise up and ask for approval from yourself. Is this going to be okay for you? Is this going to be okay for, you know, your future? Is this going to get me where I want to go? And not just, you know, waste your money. I mean, let's just face it. Like, most people, we are not good with money. We see a good deal, we jump on it, and we spend it, and then later on we may have regrets, right?
And in this industry too, like, there's such like a the sales part is so triggering to me, with the emails that you're getting bombarded with about, oh, you're running out of time, here's this special deal, this is never going to be offered again. Like, of course they're playing into the psychology of marketing and of sales, and those are the newsletters that I unsubscribe to. Like, I run my business a lot differently than a lot of people do, and it's working for me. Is it slower growth? Yes. And there's lulls at times, and then there's big pushes where all of a sudden I have a full clientele and I'm like, holy crap, how'd this happen? But it's because there's like the work that you do before the sales call. So it's providing value in your group or other groups. It's providing value in your newsletters. It's doing Facebook Lives. It's getting on calls just to meet people. I don't even want to sell you anything. Like, I just want to get on the phone. It gets lonely here in my bedroom. So if I can get on a Skype call with somebody and be like, hey, you seem really cool, I really love what you're putting out. Is there anything that I can help you with? And just getting on the phone and offering support and showing that you actually care about them, versus like, oh, my time, like I can only do a 20-minute clarity call, versus like my discovery calls are an hour long, and sometimes we go like hour and a half because we're totally jamming and it feels really good. Sometimes I don't get hired after those. Do I feel used or bad? No, because I offered my time. I'm more than happy if I have the space in my schedule. I'm more than happy to get on the phone with people and talk and get to know them. And if you just want to chat like as friends, I'll schedule it after my work day, and I'll just lay on my bed and we can just talk as friends and get to know each other. But that's what I want in a coach and in a friend, obviously, right? But I want that one-on-one support. Like I do the VIP Facebook messaging and check in with my women throughout the week. And how are you? I haven't talked to you since Tuesday. What's going on? I mail them gifts. I send them books. I give shout outs to them on my page, on my Facebook. I tag them in stuff if I think, like, I want this,
I
like,
knew I
really
liked you.
But this is what I'm talking about. Like, it doesn't have to be salesy, like market. There's such like, oh, I'm not good at business. I've said all of these things myself before.
Me too.
I'm not a businesswoman. I will never own my own business. I'm not good at any of that stuff. I'm not a good negotiator. I'm horrible at marketing. Like, I'm a business and marketing coach. And it's because I was horrible at doing it the way that other people were telling me to do it.
Yep, that was
I'm
my issue.
really freaking good at doing it the way that feels good to me. And so what my job is as a coach is to help you and my clients figure out what feels good for you, and then pour gasoline on it, light it up on fire, and blow your business up. But what works for me isn't necessarily going to work for somebody else. Like, I've shown people my whole social media strategy, and they're just like, this isn't, I can't do that. Cool. What can you do? What will you commit to? What can you stay consistent to? So you don't want to be showing up in 5 groups a week. I totally get it. Maybe you're not on Facebook as much as I am. Where can you show up? Maybe you're more of like an in-person networker or marketer. Fine, like, let's get you in coffee shops. Let's get you in front of your audience. How can you reach out to your mentors and ask them if you can come and speak for free? Like, let's get you, like, what feels good? And then we do that. It's not my place. Totally. And that's
the
what's
secret
going to
ingredient.
That's sustainable. Like, if the business model that you had before was not sustainable, obviously you shut your business down because it didn't feel good. So what my passion is to help women figure out a sustainable business model that they can ride for as long as they want to be a coach. And that changes, throughout the years, right? And you just figure, like, oh, this doesn't feel good anymore. Like, maybe sending a newsletter once a month was good enough. And then as soon as you get kind of further along, maybe you want to start sending them a couple times a month, or maybe you want to send 3 a week, or you are done with Twitter. And so you drop that whole, you never know, like, what's going to click. And it's like our businesses are like us, like, we're always evolving. So
yeah, we really are.
Thank God.
Yeah, I would get bored if everything stayed the same.
Absolutely. And you have to be willing to, like, put yourself out there, try, see what works. Like, when I have clients who are just starting out, so it's interesting that most of my clients, I'm their first coach, which is really cool, right? Like, it's so cool.
They're getting started on the right foot. That's for sure. If they're working with you.
Like, I got them before they got all fucked up. Before another coach got a hold of them. But I've also heard, like, when you were talking, I had done a discovery call with a woman, and I have this 9-month business and marketing program that starts in April that I have 4 spots left. So I was doing discovery calls for this group. And so I was talking to her about it, and we got to the end, and she's like, well, I've already done B school. I've already done this thing. I've done these things. I've invested lots of money. And by the end of your program, I'm just going to be in the same place. And I was like, well, the hope is that is not the case. I don't guarantee you that you're going to have this amazing transformation, because I can't guarantee that. So any coach, like, that's like a red flag. If a coach is like guaranteed 5K by 5 weeks or whatever the crap that they put out there, right? 60K in 60 days. Like, can I get that in writing? Because then I can sue you, right? Like,
yeah.
you can't guarantee that. You can't guarantee results, period. And so if a coach is saying like, oh, this is what you're going to be, this is what you're going to have at the end, be really like, ask questions. How are you going to get me there? What you can say, and like what on my website it says, is what's possible after our time together. Well, that really depends on how much work you're willing to put into this process. So my one-on-one program is 6 months. What's possible is that you'll have a website, but that's if you put in the work and go build your freaking website. I'm not going to do it for you because I'm not a developer and I'm not a consultant, and that's not, but we can talk about what you need to do to get a website. We can talk about the different pages that you need on your website. I'm not going to write them for you. You're going to write them for you. We can get your messaging down. We can get your branding down. I can point you in the direction of different programs that I've used, different tools that I've used to help with my own branding. I can show you what's out there. I'm not going to do that for you, because if I did your branding for you, you're not connected to it. It's not yours.
It's not your voice
At all. And so that's, I think there's just like blurred lines, and this has to do with maybe people that aren't ICF certified and that they haven't the for training around like what is coaching, what is consulting, what is training, what's facilitating. There's a big difference. And so the second that I tell my client, like, you need to do this, I'm not in coach anymore. I'm a consultant.
yeah
And, you know,
and last time I checked, if you're starting a business, you're an entrepreneur and you're the boss. You make the decisions.
Yeah.
You don't need to get approval from anyone else but yourself, because you're the boss.
Yeah,
and if you're looking for more approvals from other people like your coach or mentor, like, you need to look at yourself and get back to reality. That, do you want to be an employee or do you want to be a business owner? Because a business owner is going to step up and do whatever she feels empowered to do. And you cannot let your mentor or coach boss you around. I mean, I'll even tell my clients that. I'm like, hey, like, if I say something, like, challenge me. Like, yeah, like, if I'm saying, like, let's work on this because I feel like that's what you want to work on, and then you're like, no, I don't want to do that anymore, then tell me, like, speak up, because I'd rather you speak up and get in my face that I'm doing something wrong than to just go with it and try it out and it not work. Because if I'm telling you something and you're like, yeah, I'm excited, but you're really not, like, speak up so we can get something that you are fired up to do. And you have to have that in a mentor. You have to have it. You have to have that friendship part of it too, because if not, all you're going to do is talk about that one topic you hired them for, and that's it. And life is a lot of things.
Totally. Well, and that's the sticky part that I'm finding around business and marketing coaching. Like, if I hired a general life coach to help me with my life, then there's not any strategy really involved. She might give me some tools. We might talk about tapping. We'll talk about my relationships and all of that. But what the blurred lines that I'm seeing are between business coaches and marketing coaches, and when there's strategy involved. So coaching assumes or presents that the client is the expert in their life, right? But then there's this, like, I don't even know the word for it. I can't think of it. But, like, I know how to set up newsletters. I know sales funnels. I know newsletter. So you don't know that. So now I've kind of positioned myself as an expert, or that I know how to do these things at least, right? So in the calls, there are some days where it's more strategy based. So if you were to come to me and say, hey, I have this new free gift, this new opt-in that I want to share with my clients, and you've created it, now how do I do the funnels? So then I, as a coach, would have to say, okay, so today seems like it's going to be more strategy and training, just so that you know, like, this isn't coaching. So then I tell you, like, you go into MailChimp, you push this button, this is what you do. Because if I sat there and tried to coach you through it, like, you just don't know how to do those things, and I would be wasting your time. Right? So there's
Amen.
this like strategic part, right? And then that's where the beauty of screen shares, when I'm on coaching calls, where I can show you my screen, you can log me in to whatever, and I can show you to save us time. I'm not going to tell you what to write in your newsletters. That is the coaching part. So there might be, like, I have a new opt-in, and mine is how to write a newsletter funnel for your opt-in, for your new opt-in. So I can give you guidelines. Like, the first one should be, welcome to my list. Here's your free gift. The second one is checking in. How are you? I just want to see, hit reply. I'd love to hear how this is working for you. The third one is a free gift. So I have, like, this listed out. You don't have to do it that way. Mine is 10. So if you opt into my list, it's 10 newsletters over a couple months. You don't have to do it that way. But if I were to tell you, write this in your newsletter, nope, that doesn't sound good, or nope, and I wrote it for you, that's not coaching. And I feel like
cookie cutter. That's
totally,
cookie cutter. And cookie cutters are for cookies, not for business. Just so everybody knows.
Yeah. So there's a strategy part that kind of, and I this is especially with, like, the business that we're in, like the niche of coaching, that there is strategy. There are certain ways to do things. There's structure, but then within that structure is where you get to put your voice, where you get to share your story, and where your personality comes out, so that you attract your people. Because my people are probably very different than your people. Maybe not so much. It seems like we have a lot in common, so they're probably the same people, right? But
we should do a retreat together. We'll have tons of best friends.
So, yeah. So, but the higher level coaches who are charging a lot, you can see who their clients are. I can pick them out online. And then when I start to see, like, where, of course I'm not going to name names, but there's, like, a high level coach who puts out tons of content. And then I see the people who have hired her and worked with her who are doing similar stuff to her. And you can pick out who those people are, because it's cookie cutter, and it's really, you can go up line and see, like, where this is coming from. And they haven't, and that, I mean, I'm certainly guilty of it too. When I first started out, I didn't know my voice. I certainly didn't think I was going to be a business and marketing coach. So I was trying on different hats. I was trying out different voices. But there gets to be a point where you let go of all of the noise, and you start unsubscribing from all of the newsletters and the stuff that's coming into your inbox, and you just get centered. You pick maybe 2 or 3 mentors that you really respect and resonate with, and then just stay in your lane and do your thing.
And that's true. Because, I mean, whenever I was starting out and looking at other people, trying things out, looking for other people's advice and stuff, because, I mean, that's normal. I mean, my biggest thing, like, that kept me holding back was that I always felt like I wasn't good enough. And every time I got on a call, the ones that I really wanted to work with, I continued to tell myself, I wasn't good enough. There's no way they're going to hire me. And, I'm not good enough to put my own message out. So I'm going to kind of do what this other person is doing.
Right.
And it wasn't until I really decided who I was, like, reviewing story 1 of my life, like the old story, and kind of going over like, okay, this is all my issues and stuff like that, and I had to work on that and stuff like that, and close that book, put the end on it, and start my new chapter, my new book, with everything that I wanted to be, and to really discover who I was. Because at that point, I was lost. I didn't feel like me. I just didn't feel like me. And anything I said or did, I felt like it was somebody else, because it wasn't me. And I had to really find myself. And I think when everyone's getting started, especially for a lot of people that I've worked with in the past, and even right now, coming from other coaches, when they're starting out, most of the time, they don't feel like themselves. They have no idea who they are. They don't know what their voice is. They don't know what their struggles are. They don't know what they're good at. They don't know how to do things that are them. And I mean, I think that should be like the number one step before you hire a coach, is figure out who you are. Figure out like what you actually want to say. What do you actually want to do? How are you actually going to love your life? And then look for a mentor that resonates with you. Maybe it's something in the past that you'll have in common. Maybe it's something that they're living your lifestyle right now. I mean, you obviously want somebody that is steps ahead of you. Maybe not just one step ahead of you, but maybe a few. But you want to be able to find a mentor that is aligned to you, and that you can tell about story number 1 that we're ending. That way they know too. That way they can actually help you to really transform and get to that storybook number 2 that is the right book. Because I mean, if you don't even know who you were in the first book, then how are you going to write the second one? It's just going to be the same cycle. I mean, it's like a movie sequel.
It builds on one another, right? Like, and as much as I hate math, like coming to the reference of like, when you're learning algebra, or when you're learning, like if you missed a day, you're kind of screwed for like the next week, right? So it's all like steps. Like you have to take steps to get to where you want. And if you skip a couple steps, you're going to stumble, and then you end up having to come back to those steps anyway. So if you don't know your why, if you don't know your vision, if you aren't connected to your values, if you don't know what your strengths are, those are the building blocks of a successful business. And this is all stuff that I work on with my clients when they first, no matter where they are in their business. What are your values? What does your company represent? What do you want to stand for? What do you want to be known for? And if you're not connected to your why and your values and what you want to be known for, you can't build a solid business, because you're looking around for all of that stuff. You're not rooted in who you are as a person. And that's where all the, like, I might be a business and marketing coach, but there is so much personal development that has to take place in order to have a sustainable business. Because I mean, and I was just talking in my group today about it, and you had mentioned it. So my group is the Traveling Wild Woman Coaching Community. So I would love to have more people in there to take part in these conversations. But we were talking about your mindset work and how that will make or break your business. And if you are not connected, right? If you're not consistently doing daily mindset work of setting goals, but then being detached from the outcome. And this is where it all gets kind of like more on the spiritual side of things. But of course you have to set goals in business, but when you can't get attached to the outcome. And so when you start to get attached to like, oh, I have all these raving fans, they love me, and that starts to feed your ego, your head starts to get big. Same thing happens if you have haters and they start talking about you and they start kind of ripping you apart online. Like, you have to be detached from the good and the bad so that you know your worth and who you are and what you stand for. And all of that stuff is noise. The good stuff is amazing. The bad stuff gives you an opportunity to look at what needs, okay, is there any truth to this? What do I need to clean up? If they're full of shit, like, done. But when you've done that mindset work and you know what you stand for and what your values are and what your why is, all of that other stuff is just distraction. Even the good stuff. Right? So that's like, I could talk about this stuff all day. Like, I love
know,
it.
me too.
But and like, what I love doing is, it's so hard. Like, so if I said I was a women's business and marketing coach, you would just think it's just like, boom, she does business stuff, marketing stuff. But there's so much more to me as a person, to my brand, and to what my passion is and what I want to help women do in their lives and in their businesses. And like, the 3 pillars of my business of Traveling Wild Woman is business, marketing, and mindset, because those 3 things are what is going to transform your business.
And see, I'm in the same boat with you. I call myself a business coach, but I do a lot of mindset work. I do a lot of like healing too, because there's stuff that, like, you know, if you're booking all these different calls and having clients get on and you're not closing any of them, there's a deeper issue that we have to uncover and cut the roots of that baby so it gets out of it. And then we also work on the business stuff, and then we can even get on like the technology side of things too. Like I'm a well-rounded business coach, and I know you are too. And I think that that's also another thing. Like, I'm not saying that you can't have more than one mentor at once, but when you're starting out, find somebody that can help you in all your areas. That way you're not overdoing your business operating costs. And that's something that I do with my clients. I have them every single month. They turn in their monthly business operating costs and their income statement, because number one, we're keeping up with taxes and accounting stuff while they're getting started. And number two, I want to review it to see what they're spending money on and making sure that they're not wasting anything. Yeah. Because I mean, that's a tendency, and it's like, hey, hold up. You're getting a little ahead of yourself. We need to cut back this expense or this one because you're not even using this. Like, why are you paying for a course right now if we're not even, like, you don't even have a course made? Do you even have videos? Like, that's part of what I want to do, because I want to make sure that you're not wasting money, and I want to make sure that you're actually growing and investing in the right things. And so when you get a coach that's well-rounded and can help you in all areas, I'm like a firm believer that lifestyle and business, there's a harmony in between both of them. Nothing's ever going to be balanced. It's just a harmony. It's like a wave. So you have to have somebody that can kind of be with that harmony and not just on one side. And that's what I love about you, because I know you're like that, and I know that I'm like that too. And that's probably why I brought you on this show, because I know that we're a lot alike. We have the same values, and we have the same like passion and drive and to helping other women change their life, because it's crazy online. There's a lot of shiny objects, and you have to watch out, and like, figure out who is farting rainbows and don't work with them. Or riding unicorns, like, totally. That's not real. Like, last time I checked, people don't fart rainbows. So be careful online. So funny. And, going back to the whole cookie cutter thing, like, really find somebody that can help you, and that it's not a cookie cutter business, because every single business is different. I've worked with people that have launched stuff inside stores, like home improvement stores, like Home Depot and Lowe's. I worked with people that had local businesses in town. I worked with online businesses too, and each person is so different. Like, I have one that only does e-commerce. I have one or a lot that are service-based. I have a lot that are, like, service-based too, but in other things, like an interior designer or something like that, not a coach or a consultant and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And if I had one program and I said, here's this piece of paper and this is what you're going to do because you're going to make money off of it, I would have no results. The products would not be in stores. E-commerce would not be doing good. Interior design, like, she's not going to be able to talk to people the way I would talk to someone else that is trying to start a business like that. Like every industry is different, every person is different, and you need to find somebody that will understand you, that you can relate to, get on a deeper level with, and build the business that you feel good about, like Shannon was saying. That way you can have the life that you love and have the things that you actually desire to have. And I mean, that's where I feel like this call was all about. And I think we covered a lot. I know Shannon has a busy day. I think she has a call coming up.
I have a meeting.
Yeah. So Shannon, do you have anything else you want to add today?
Let's see. So I have, and we talked a little bit about it. We didn't really touch much, but I have a retreat in Italy coming up this summer. So it's at the end of June, June 29th to July 5th. And it's amazing. It's not just for coaches. I do work predominantly with coaches, but this retreat is more for women who want to come explore Italy with me and who want to.
Oh, my kind of retreat.
The accommodation alone, like the villas that we're going to be staying in, are just like, oh, they're so amazing.
Can you see the ocean?
No, so it's in Lucca. So it's like a walled, it's about a 20-minute train ride to the water. But we'll be taking a trip to Florence as well. There's a cooking class that we're going to be doing, and his name is Giuseppe, Chef Giuseppe. And we're going to do olive oil tasting and cooking. And then there's the piece where I'm coming in, and I love storytelling. And that is how I have grown my business, through sharing my stories of my sobriety and my travels and my life on the island here. And that's how I've built my business. And there's so much healing that happens when we share our stories and when we're witnessed by other women when we do share these stories. And so the part where I'm leading workshops during the retreat are around writing and sharing your story and uncovering that voice, reclaiming that voice that for whatever reason told we're not good enough, that we're too much, that we're not enough, all of those things. So we're going to be digging into that a bit. And then also on the business side, for the business owners that do come, talking about how to share that story authentically online. So how to build your social media presence. There'll be a little bit of training like what I do in my business with my one-on-one clients, but it's really based and focused just more on being witnessed and building. It's open to 10 women, so a very intimate group to be seen and to explore and to unleash your inner wild woman.
I love that. Yeah. Italy would be so cool to go to. I've not been there.
Oh, you haven't? Yeah, this will be my third time. And and so I'm leaving. I'm actually moving off the island in April, and I'm looking at Italy for 3 months and then figuring out my life from there.
That is so cool. Talk about a traveling wild woman doesn't even know where she'll be at after 3 months in Italy.
So you can get more information. We're getting sales pages up in the next week or so, but you can go to travelingwildwoman.com/retreats and get on the list for early bird pricing.
Yeah, and right below the podcast show, you should see the link to hop on over so you can go to Italy.
I love
it. So
this
was awesome getting to have you here and finally getting to connect and talking about the coaching industry and helping others see the truth behind the shiny objects and unicorns and people farting rainbows. So yeah, everyone, I hope you've learned something new. I hope that this helps guide you into finding the right mentor that is meant for you. And if you know, you are looking for someone, definitely check out Shannon or even myself. We're here to help you. Obviously, both of us want to be best friends with our clients. And we are there to help them. And I gotta say, I love your retreat that you're gonna take them out and go traveling.
Yeah,
I've always thought that
thank
it's
you.
crazy that some of them will charge a lot of money and then they're just staying there like, we're going to this awesome place and we're going to be working 9 to 9 every day.
Right. No,
I'm like,
no.
no.
This is like, there's some days where we're not even having workshops, where we're just traveling up to Florence and watching
That's
the
awesome.
sunset at Ponte Vecchio and drinking wine. I won't be drinking wine, but you can, the participants can drink wine on the little grassy areas. And yeah, so it's going to be awesome. I'm excited.
That's so cool. Yeah. And plus, most of the time when we're living our lives and having fun, that's when we get abundance and we get our clients and stuff like that. At least that's what happens to me.
Yeah,
Yes.
like anytime I travel, I am on fire. Like that's when just stuff comes flying out of me. You see what's possible. Yeah, like I went to a retreat 2 years ago in Venice, and it just like what you're seeing in my business now is a result of that retreat. It just lit a fire under my butt, and here we are. So
that's awesome.
yeah.
Well, I hope you have a great day.
Thanks,
and enjoy
love.
your next meeting. And
thank you
so much for being here. And again, everyone, the link is below the podcast video, so you can go hop on over and go to Italy in June.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we will see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.